there. Welcome to the virtual Explore SDSU presentation from the Health Professions Advising Office. My name is Logan Watson. I'm the Director of the Health Professions Advising Office at San Diego State University, and I'm excited to be giving this presentation today to so many of our young pre-health professionals. So let's get into it. All right. Now, preparing for a health profession, there's quite a lot involved in it, and especially during undergraduate years. Yes, you'll have your major. Yes, you'll have GEs alongside your major classes, but alongside those components, you'll have clinical opportunities, you'll have community service opportunities, and through all that, you're going to end up finding your passion and what you want to be committed to over time, and a depth of commitment in these activities, ultimately to facilitate your goal of being admitted to a health profession school. So I want to cover a couple frequently asked questions that, well, we get a lot. And it's a question that's probably a lot on everyone's mind at this point. So how many of your applicants get it? This is something we get all the time. But there are better questions to ask than this, because we don't, the Health Professions Advising Office doesn't get applicants in anywhere, really. The applicants get themselves in. And I know it might sound kind of off-putting, but it's true. The applicants do the heavy lifting. HPAO, or the Health Professions Advising Office, our responsibility and role is to help guide the student through the application process, is to help meet with them every semester to make sure they're developing into what a health profession school committee would want to see in a competitive applicant. So some better questions to ask any college is, how does this institution advise and support students considering a health profession career, which will definitely go into how SDSU does that. If there is a published acceptance rate, and how are these students endorsed or identified? Our acceptance rate is not published. We use it for internal office use, and that's because there's a lot of things that can skew these numbers. There's students outside of our office who they may not contact our office at all, and they may get into medical school or multiple medical schools or dental schools or pharmacy schools by virtue of them being competitive applicants. There might be students that don't use our services for several semesters and all of a sudden pop in towards the end of their education once, and then that skews the data, because did we support them? Yes, once, but not during their whole education, right? So these students at SDSU are self-identified at the moment. So when a student comes in, that's when we start engaging with them and start assisting them in their overall becoming a competitive applicant. And what will the student, need to be a competitive applicant? Well, we identify what trends that the health profession schools are engaging as far as what they're looking for, but the student really is in charge of what they can do to make themselves competitive. We definitely want to guide them through that process and inform them about the process overall, semester by semester. So this is our team. That's me in the upper corner there. I'm director and advisor for the Health Professions Advising Office. We do have 2 advising assistants who tag team, assisting me in daily operations, assisting the office in administrative work, and they do some entry-level advising as well. Then we have our peer mentors, who are really the lifeblood of our organization. Each peer mentor has anywhere from 2 to 5 mentees who are usually lower classmen, and they kind of take them under their wing and offer that one-on-one peer relationship within our office. And they're good liaisons and ambassadors of what we're trying to do. Okay? Now, This is our mission statement. So we give information and advising and support for our students who aspire to graduate um, graduate professional programs in the health professions and wish to enhance their academic and extracurricular preparation. The Health Professions Advisor, yours truly, advising assistants and peer mentors, we guide students as they plan their pre-health professions coursework, health-related experiences, service work, and research in preparation for applying to programs. And we are a community of pre-health professions scholars. That's definitely something we are big on at SDSU, is the sense of community. And we'll get into that with our clubs and organizations a little bit later on. All right, so what we give out is information about all health professions except for physical therapy, nursing, and public health. That's mainly because those specific programs have colleges within SDSU. So we respect their space as far as not stepping on their toes because they are the experts, right? Now, individualized ongoing health professions advising. The individualized part is because it's one-on-one with them. We grow to know our students, and ongoing because from the first point they step in our office and create a file with us, we ask that they come back once a semester to at least check in, or really anytime they have any questions, all the way up until they're getting ready to apply to where we're helping them become competitive. We offer workshops and guest speakers throughout the semester to include writing a personal statement workshop, becoming a competitive applicant workshop, and guest speakers including physicians themselves, experts in the field, vets in the field, or it could be pre-dent students who are engaging in some of these activities in graduate programs. And then we offer graduate and professional school application assistance and review. That's probably one of the bigger components. When students are getting ready to apply, they can take part in the application review process, which we hold every year. This process is great. The students turn in information in an incremental fashion, and then at the end of the culmination, when we get all that information together, we invite faculty and staff from the university to review the applicants as if we are the admissions panel. So they're getting a full panel mock interview before they even apply for that cycle. And it's usually right before. That way they feel prepared. They know they've gotten some feedback. They know what some constructive criticism is, and they know what's working. And of course, we have the peer mentors, which I spoke about earlier. Now, we do have a website. If you just Google HPAO, HPAO SDSU, or Health Professions Advising Office SDSU, or enter that URL in the center of the screen, it'll take you right there. There's a lot of information that we do put on our website. It's the most up-to-date information that we have about how to explore health professions, how to get involved in community service, clinical opportunities. They're not exhaustive lists because it would be impossible to stay on top of so many opportunities, but it's a great place to get started on some just general information and maybe a little bit more specific information. Along the right-hand side, we do have our HPAO mailing list. These are Google groups, and pending a student has been accepted to SDSU and they're planning on matriculating into SDSU, then they can sign up for whatever their appropriate Google group is. If they're pre-med, then the pre-medical. If they're pre-physician assistant, then the pre-physician assistant. And then they'll receive important communications that our students receive from us directly, usually me, or receive from our office about any updates or important opportunities that they could have, like guest speakers, workshops, so on and so forth. All right, so there's many healthcare careers out there. Medicine, dentistry, podiatric medicine, physician assistant, dentistry on there twice. Oh, whoops. Pharmacy, physician, physical therapy, optometry, veterinary medicine. There's tons out there. This is not an exhaustive list. There's hundreds. Even the allied health professions, EMT, paramedic, even corpsman. There's all sorts out there. And we advise on the vast majority of these, some of which we don't see very often. I can tell you the heavy hitters, so to speak, or the largest population is medicine and dentistry. Close second is physician assistant. We do have some pharmacy, optometry, and some veterinary medicine. Okay, but if you're thinking of an allied health profession or one of these health professions, we definitely want to help you get on the right road. So what is the formula to be accepted into a health professions program? So how do you do it? Well, there is no formula and there is no checklist. So what are you left with, right? And that's the big question that we strive to help students uh, not necessarily answer, but kind of grow into their answer, right? So one thing about the formula issue, and I skipped ahead of this slide, didn't mean to, but one thing about the formula thing is the reason there isn't a formula is because we don't want to create the same applicant over and over with each student. Now, that would make them non-unique, right? And the health profession schools want unique applicants. So that's part of the advising that we do one-on-one is we help students try and find their passion, try and get involved in things that they may or find out they may not like, right? To figure themselves out. And that is what a health profession school admissions committee will want to see is does this applicant know who they are? Do they know what they're passionate about? And are they following their passion? Yeah. Okay, so on to this slide. So a health career, where do you start? Well, it's okay if you're not sure right now, and it's okay if you change your mind, even if you thought you were sure. But really the best place to start is just checking general courses required for health professions. We do have those listed on our website by health profession, and we do have them accessible in our office. A peer mentor can review those with students, or one of the staff or myself can review those with students as well. The reason why that's the best place to get started is because a lot of these course prerequisites are science courses, and we want to make sure that this is a good fit for you. You're going to be a lifelong learner in a very scientific arena, right? All right. So health professions requirements. Now, I'm going to bring up, again, two of our main health professions, main being that they're not necessarily as important as others. We just see more medicine and dentistry, pre-dent and pre-med students than other populations like vet medicine or optometry. So I want to compare these side by side, and these are the requirements as listed currently for 2020 for students looking to go into the health professions, right? Medicine's on the left, dentistry is on the right. But we can already see some variance between these two. Now, on the left, medicine requires calculus and stats, whereas on the right, dentistry may not require calculus and stats. On the left below, medicine also recommended genetics, psychology, and sociology, where on the right, it might be required or recommended that you take anatomy and physio and biochem and psych. There's some variance. Now, this is to show the variance between health professions, but also in medicine. Let's say if you're pre-med, with that, there's going to be variances program to program on what they require. So it's never too early to start looking into specific programs because that's the most finite way that you're going to know what you need. Now we cater to a set of prerequisites that will allow you to get into the vast majority of pre-med programs, right? So that's what we kind of use, a blanket all approach, and that's what most students end up taking, because you might not have a list when you're a freshman, and by reason you might only have like your dream school, right? Which would make sense. Okay, so academics, word on this. Now GPA, you want to protect your GPA at all costs, and at any university, but especially at SDSU, we do have multiple tiers at which we try to support students. We have the Writing Center in the library, we have the Math Learning Center, we have in the College of Sciences, we have the College of Sciences Student Success Center, which they offer free tutoring. There's multiple levels at which you want to protect your GPA. A GPA weeds out thousands every application cycle. It's not necessarily the reason you would be accepted, but can be the reason why you would not be accepted. Now, the reason is you could have a 3.9 or a 4.0, but unless you have clinical opportunities, community service opportunities, you found your passion, you have maybe some shadowing, or you might have done research, or you have multiple other components to you, and you're well-rounded, so you have hobbies, things like that. Unless you have those components, you probably won't get in, because it's not just about your numbers. It's about you as an individual. And then it could be the reason that you're not accepted is because you could have all the activities. You could have clinical, shadowing, you can have all those things. But those depth of commitment, time, you name it, all that will not make up for a poor GPA. So GPA is incredibly important. So path to the health profession school. So while there is no checklist, there are, of course, things that you would want to do before, and there's some suggested things, some variant things. Of course, you would want to complete your degree requirements, complete health professions required courses, right? Because they're telling you, hey, take these, you got to take those. And then take coursework for a well-rounded education. They want to see that you're a balanced student. Find leadership opportunities. Being a leader, both informal leadership and formal leadership, is incredibly important in any health profession. Get patient or clinical experience. So experience in the field to verify, yep, pre-dent's right for me. Yep, I'm a pharmacy tech. Pharmacy, I'm in the field a little bit. This is right for me. Volunteer in the community, health-related or other. Health-related and non-health related community service are just as valuable as each other, right? So they're considered on the same tier. Including underserved and vulnerable populations, which you definitely want to serve the underserved. Consider research. It doesn't have to be science or bench research. Consider it because it's not required for entry into most health profession schools. But if a school is a very heavy research institution and their mission statement says research 5 times in the mission statement, and they're not listing it as a specific requirement, you may want it. But it's not a requirement. Only if you enjoy it do you need it. Only if you enjoy it, you could have it. There, let's phrase that differently. Learn about issues that affect health and healthcare. The admissions committees want to see that you are a lifelong learner and you're going to be up on trends in treatment. So how do health profession schools choose students? Well, this is a holistic review. You're more than just your test scores and your GPA. So you're more than just your numbers. Your demonstrated intellectual capacity and curiosity, so critical thinking, research experience, and potential for growth. Your understanding of that health profession, your motivation, your exposure to the health profession and healthcare, so your clinical opportunities, even your non-clinical opportunities that may relate back to your mission of why you want to be a physician, understanding that as a whole. Demonstrated commitment over time to your important activities. So what you value as an important activity for you and your growth, you want to demonstrate a depth of commitment over time. So service and advocacy are things you demonstrate in that. Specific characteristics that align with that school or program's mission. You want to choose schools that align with you as a person, your values. Maybe you're more community service oriented. Maybe you care about serving the underserved beyond just the community service. You want to do this day to day. You want to be a physician for the homeless or something like that. You want to definitely look at schools that will support you. So what is the best major for health professions? We get this a lot, and everybody's going to say, oh, it's got to be a bio major. Oh, it's got to be a chem major for sure, right? Well, there is no best major for health professions. And some people might think, oh, that's arguable because biology, yeah, if I'm going into dentistry, I'm working on a human, it's biology. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because if you choose biology as a major, say, and you are definitely invested initially, but you lose that passion and it becomes difficult for you, well, now if health profession schools want to see what you're passionate about, but you've chosen a major that you're not passionate about, that there's going to be kind of a rift between you and your major, and admissions committees will see that. And not only that, you're not going to enjoy your time as an undergraduate. And on top of that, you might be risking your GPA because you don't like your major. Well, contrast to that, if you're trying to set yourself apart from the other applicants and you choose to be an art major, but you're not good at art, you don't like art, and you like the sciences, well, then go that way. There really is no best major for the health professions, period. We work very closely with major advisors, the Health Professions Advising Office does, and we strive to help students figure out what major is best for them, right? All right, important notes about academics. Most health profession schools do not accept AP credit or online coursework for health professions required courses. Now, before we panic, there are strategies to um, to go beyond this uh, this sorry, I'm totally blanking on my words right now. Oh, right. To go beyond this, what can be a possible limitation. So we're definitely able to work with students who might have AP credit for a course that is a prerequisite for health professions. Again, we do have that listed online. We do have that in our office. We can work with students to come up with strategies on how to overcome some of these things. A C- is not a passing grade for health professions programs. It might be for the university, which it is for SDSU, but it's something that you would want to show growth from by possibly retaking that course or engaging in other strategies, which we can work with students on those. Health professions required courses and all other science courses should be taken for a letter grade unless they are only offered for credit, no credit. All right. So we want students to take classes in person, ideally, to open up those possibilities for schools in which we'll accept them. And we want them to take them for a letter grade. Community college courses, if you're a transfer student, all the community college courses you took up until you transferred, those are fine. If you're a first-time freshman, if you are a first-time freshman and you're thinking about taking community college courses, sometimes that might limit the number of schools willing to look at your application. If you have transferred already and you're thinking of going back to community college and taking community college courses, that may limit the number of schools willing to look at your application. So that's where we want to help you, and any health professions advising office would want to help their students to understand what that means. So there is no course forgiveness for health professional school applications. All grades must be submitted on your primary application. So personal attributes for health professions, this is what health profession schools are looking for in their students, right? Medical schools, physician assistant schools, pharmacy schools, they're looking for these personal attributes. Medical school, the AAMC outlined these really well, and all the other health professions started to adapt these ideals. They're looking for integrity and ethics, reliability and dependability, service orientation, social and interpersonal skills, capacity for improvement, resilience and adaptability, cultural competence, oral communication, and teamwork. Now, let's say I'm an applicant and I'm saying, oh yeah, I demonstrated service orientation, right? And I have these. Well, a committee is going to ask how, right? And what did you do to embody these? How were these reflected in some of your activities? How did you demonstrate some of these things? And you're going to want to be able to reflect and think, yeah, I did this because I was passionate, and this is how that came about, right? You really do want to grow into these competencies with your activities to become a competitive applicant. So the best thing is to get involved. What do you care about? Find what your passion is and grow into that. And don't be afraid to change it up if you choose to. You want a depth of commitment over time. It demonstrates longevity, and it demonstrates that you know you as a person and you took the time to figure that out. Simple participation is not enough. Oftentimes, pre-health students will want to check off boxes and just list, oh yeah, I did this. Oh, I was involved in this org and then this. Well, again, when you're standing in front of a committee, when you're filling out your personal statement, what did you learn? How did you grow, right? Well, you can say, yeah, you participated, but health profession schools are looking beyond that, okay? So leadership, how do you demonstrate leadership? Healthcare experience, or I keep saying clinical experience, service or health related and non-health related activities, and research, again, if you're passionate about research. Remember, this is not a checklist, okay? You could do all these things and not have reflected and not have grown and don't have that passion, and maybe you don't have the GPA or you don't have your exam score and you could not get in. So work with us in order to understand how you can develop as a pre-health applicant. Now, these are some of our on-campus organizations. There's hundreds of them. There's a lot of them, I believe, well, there's definitely over 10, 15 or 16 pre-health organizations on campus for the varying health professions and varying students. So definitely try and get involved on campus. Earlier the better. That way you can get more involved and grow in your pre-health community. So this is just a list of a few of the pre-health organizations on campus and non-pre-health organizations on campus, science related, and we do list the pre-health specific ones on our website. HPAO does offer courses every semester, on and off, depending on some of these are offered only one semester. Some of them are offered the other semester, so fall versus spring, but they are careers in health professions, topics in medicine, topics in vet medicine, and preventative dentistry. This is to kind of further the education of some of our pre-health scholars and acquaint them with all of these subjects that are pretty big to swallow. Each one is one unit and they are credit, no credit. So here's some of our interviews for our dental students and our DO students, our DOMD students, and our MD students, right? Getting an interview is real. It's intensive. It's intensive. It's not easy. You have to be a pretty competitive applicant to even get an interview, let alone an admissions offer, right? So we have multiple admissions offers. We've got multiple interviews for multiple folks. And these are students, there's students out there that may not have gotten back to us about which interviews that they got to. So there's even more than this for these populations. Here are some examples of some PA folks and optometry folks, pharmacy and vet medicine, along with accelerated nursing. These folks got into multiple schools as well, got interviews, got acceptances. A few names are Ross, Marquette. We have UCSD, UCSD, UC Riverside or UCR. We have Johns Hopkins. We have Yale. We have quite a few, and it's a plethora across the United States. These are some of our white coat photos. So our proud physicians earning their white coat for their white coat ceremonies, and they are just looking absolutely amazing. And you can just tell it's the happiest moment of their life, the culmination of all of what they've been working for. The best advice is prepare, 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 and HPAO will help. And you can prepare as early as possible to become involved and competitive sooner, and that depth of commitment over time. The time means earlier the better, right? So don't be afraid to reach out to us. So we look forward to working with you on your pre-health journey. And thank you for attending this little one-on-one pre-recorded session. I will be doing the Q&A for Explore SDSU, so I hope you can swing by and ask any burning questions that you might have, and hopefully I can answer as many of those as possible. Feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is on our website, and for general questions, I'm more than happy to answer as many of them as I can. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about advising students, and especially advising students in something so necessary as the health professions, and something I hold very close to my heart. So I'm very happy and very excited for you to start your journey, and please let us know if we can help you in any way. All right, I'm going to wrap things up, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.